All right, I think we're here. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Crafts. I can see I got volume. You got the right microphone going. I think we're going to be okay. Wow, what a disaster up there this morning in the garage. I don't know what happened, but my mic just whatever. I can see the blue lights like it's connected, but there's no volume. I'll fix it later on. Anyway, happy Monday. Welcome to a new week. I got I think some interesting stuff planned for us this week. I usually each week has kind of a theme to it. This week there's just a lot of stuff running through my mind, and I thought let's talk a little bit about a couple things, because last week we had that really great role, right? And it's become the topic of conversation between me and a few of my friends here. And matter of fact, I did a podcast recording last night with JB, my opium movie, and it came up again in that conversation as well, because the way that you play those crazy hands is interesting. Depending on the kind of person, I hate to say that, like, sounds like bad, but the kind of person that you are, the way your brain's wired, how do you attack that monster role, I think is very interesting. And there's a lot of parts that go into that, a lot of facets to it. It's not just, ooh, I caught a monster, or ooh, I'm super conservative. There's a bunch that goes into it. I think today what I want to do is talk about bankroll management in the rack a little bit, because I think the rack helps me make the decision whether to go or not to go. Today, the rack made a couple of decisions for me too. If we go back and review what happened this morning when I went and placed the point and pulled my bets down, I did that because I knew what was in the rack, right? There's a point in time where I'm looking down and saying, today's goal is this, my bets total this, my profits total this. I know that I made my goal. No matter what happens, I'm coming down, right? That's a decision that I made today tactically, because I was on paycheck mode. I was not in home run mode. Now, turns out my paycheck made a little bit more than it should have. So I took that extra bit, took a stab at it. We happened to get lucky and get some good rolls, and the stab worked, made some extra money. The other day, I made a fortune and left a fortune on the table. And I wanted to talk about that this week, but I thought I would lead up to it. So I think today we're going to lead into that by talking about bankroll management in the rack. And I think it's a larger discussion about how to use your rack. So there's lots of things we can talk about there. But before we talk about that stuff, let's get into my screen's over here to some of the things. So here's this morning's review. So daily paycheck today, it worked out, but I have so many mixed feelings about this one. We're 2-0, right? We won. Now what I did was the first roll we won $475 paycheck. The second roll we won $637, and then I went and did the extra bit and made the extra money. I didn't put that in. So the profit here shows the $475 and the $637. Not the extra $300 that I made by doing tier pressure. So I didn't include the extra money. I want to make this about the strategy, not about the extra bullshit, okay? Now here's the thing. Crossbow is an iron cross. Iron crosses have got all kind of problems, especially when you same bet the iron cross. Now the one reason why this works, and this is Wayland's 175, which means you're at 125 on the 5, 156 and 8, all pays 175, 75 in the field. So the line bets or the box bets net you $100. The field brings you 75. What I've been doing is taking that field and grabbing the 9, grabbing the 10, grabbing the 4, whatever, or take the field and go DC with it and start working a dolly from your DC from your field wins. I think the trick to an iron cross is two things. One trick with the iron cross is you have to get the spread between your place bets and your field right. Okay, this one, most of the time, it's about 2-to-1, right? 2-to-1, 3-to-1 is about right here. The numbers work out perfectly to rack a black chip. I like that about it. That's one thing I like about it. You got to play this high level to make that work. I always think also in iron cross, you have to reinvest your field. Collecting field wins to the rack does you no good. That money's got to go to work somewhere, whether it's on the don't, whether it's in odds, whether it's other place bet numbers. That has to be a thing. The problem with this that I did today, I think, is I played the don't pass along with it. Now, I was going to play the Baccarat strategy down there. The problem with that is it's cool, but you end up just collapsing all your win potential, right? Like if I would have taken 5 hits up top and had no don't pass, I'd have been done. We'd have been done in 3 rolls, the 4 or 5 rolls the first time. As it was with the don't pass, when the 7 comes, you end up winning $25. After all that work, you win nothing because the don't pass collapses your wins. So I don't know if playing the iron cross from the don't is super profitable unless you catch a monster roll. And then you got to say, well, when do I stop playing it? Like at some point, 5 hits in, the first time we did 5 or 6 hits in, then I went to the don't. I decided to stop playing it because it was enough already. that's where this thing gets complicated. There's no right answer to it. It's a feel thing. It's a count your rack kind of thing. So I don't know. We're gonna keep playing it this week. I don't love iron crosses for lots of reasons. I don't love them from the don't, especially, but we're gonna try it anyway. We're gonna keep at it this week and see how it does. So far, so good. We had 2 paychecks today in the span of 45 minutes in about 30 rolls. So I'm bitching up a storm, but it worked. So anyway, there's that. Let's move ahead and see what's happening in our world. Oh my God. First of all, you guys have got to call out in chat right now. Call out Corey. Sith Lord Espy. 6 wins in a row on Friday Night Fights. 6 wins in a row on Friday Night Fights. Holy crap. He writes me, he's like, are you dealing this week? Because he knows that he's got my roles figured out or something, but he's got it, right? He's got it figured out. So good on him, right? Scotty Free is a challenger. I couldn't get a hold of him last week. If it's not Scotty Free, it'll be Galenar to come back in. So one of those two will play. I've talked to Galenar for sure. He'll be in no matter what. The live Crapsapalooza. And I see that Buckeyes talk about doing a live Crapsy here. I'm not sure what's going on there, but you guys are playing the shit out of some Crapsy right now. Holy moly. This weekend, every time I pick my phone up to just check my texts, because like I spent the whole weekend coding, by the way. I tore down the entire roll tracker and rewrote the whole thing from the rails, built the whole thing from zero because I didn't like the data model that I had. It's way better now. It's not finished yet, but the data modeling is way better. Anyway, I sat here for 11 hours on Saturday and 9 hours yesterday. And every time I checked my phone, there was somebody else going live. It's like Jeff's going, not Jeff, but Alfredo went live. George is live. The Hawaiians are live. Everybody's going live. Alfredo did like 4 lives yesterday, I think. And Jeff did 2 or 3 last night. It's insane. You guys are like, you're like addicts. It's hysterical. I love it. I love the fact that it's like that. I got to be honest with you though. I don't mind dealing to Crapsy like this morning. I don't mind doing it when I'm dealing. I really dislike playing it. Not the app itself, but I really, really, really dislike playing Crapsy with you guys. And I mean, that sounded bad. What I mean is when I'm watching Jeff roll or I'm watching Alfredo roll and I have Crapsy going, I'm watching the video, I hear his voice, I see the dice crack and he says it's 4-2-6 and I go to Crapsy and it already says dice are out, hands held high, and the 6 was typed in, but I never saw my payment. I never got a chance to make a new bet. Like I don't have the rhythm down as a player. It's so freaking fast. Like it seems like the roll gets entered before I see it on screen. It's very confusing. I don't know how you guys do it. As far as keeping up to date. I think this is going to sound a question for you. When I roll Crapsy upstairs in the garage in the morning, I have my feed set to super low latency, so it's only about a 1 to 5 second delay between me and the Crapsy rolls. Does that make it better or not? As far as keeping the time right, I just wonder if we can do something like that. But for me, I can't get the bets in fast enough. I feel like I got 4 or 5 seconds from when I see hands held high, I start moving shit around, and it's like I got half my bets placed, and then the roll comes in, and I get wiped out, or I don't get paid on a number I was going to bet on. I literally sitting here swearing the whole time. And I'm like, fuck it. I turn this thing off. I'm not playing it. So we got to figure this. We got to figure the timing of that out. Because frankly, when I play with Alfredo or Jeff, I just swear the whole time because I'm not getting my bets in. Don't like it. Until we figure something else out to make it more real time. That's the thing. It's got to be more real time. Anyway, off my soapbox. What else is happening out here? Fireside Crafts. We did Ken last night. I filmed that with Ken, obviously, before the Super Bowl. That was a long time ago. I'm trying to get the rhythm of like, every week, it's like Fireside, Craps Chat, Fireside, Craps Chat. We're kind of trying to flip around. So that's why I delayed that one. I recorded with JB, my opening movie last night, which was interesting. It's going to be a good one. That's coming out in 2 weeks. He's a good dude. But they're both good dudes. They're both really good friends of mine. They're not big fans of each other, I can tell you that. There's no love lost between Ken and Myopia, and there's good reasons for that. They definitely they clash, and they again, there's reasons that I won't go into here, but Ken brought up some interesting stuff last night about martingaling and his career as a gambler. Martingaling blackjack was mainly his game, and JB put a comment on the video about how foolish that is. Not martingaling generally, but his comment was about martingaling blackjack and not taking the double downs and the splits and everything else. And I get that. Mathematically, that's why would you ever not play basic strategy to the letter, even if you're martingaling? I don't understand that. But I can tell you this, after I watched that with Ken, after I talked to Ken, I didn't think of it in the moment. I'm like, okay, just take him at his word, whatever he's saying he's doing. I'm like, that didn't make any sense to me either. I went and looked it up, right? I went and looked, and I went YouTube searching on a blackjack deep dive. And I don't really play a lot of blackjack. I just don't. Now I'm going to start counting cards. I'm going to start really, really getting into it because it's something else my brain needs work to do. But anyway, go watch YouTube videos on blackjack martingales. And you'll find that about 75 to 80% of the martingale blackjack strategists all say don't play basic strategy. Or in other words, don't double down, don't split, which I find fascinating. I think the martingale way of thinking is it's a unit. You're doing it essentially a 50-50 bet with the unit thing. You're not taking advantage of those extra opportunities, which I think is weird. But for some reason, everybody who martingales blackjack doesn't do that. So I gotta find a why on that. There's got to be a reason why they don't do it. I don't understand it. Blackjack, you get you get those chances to hammer them. You hammer them, right? I mean, I've been playing blackjack forever. Basic strategy, never counting. It seems to me like you take advantage of it. So I don't know why. There's a reason for it. I have to ask Ken the next time I talk to him why. What's the thought process on that? Is it just because the martingale is so dependent on the unit that you're going to win, you cannot risk a second unit? Because if you martied up and you've split, now you're double martying. It's a huge win, but the point of a marty, I think, has got to be unit based. I don't know, man. I feel like it's a thing to ask for sure. It's a thing to dive into. So I found it interesting that JB called it out, and I was thinking like, what? And then I watched videos and it confirmed it. Anyway, that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about craps. And also, I'm coding like crazy. The new CGTV website's on the way. The Roll Tracker app I spent the whole weekend on, and I got a TV guide in the works too. Probably not for another couple of weeks. It's going to take me all my nights the next few weeks to get these coding things done, but you'll see some improvements as we go. In fact, the CGTV website, I moved it to a different server over the weekend. It's faster now, so it actually works better. But we've got to get it. We got to get it hooked up to where it looks better, feels better, and the Roll Tracker is part of it. That's what's going to be happening. So, all right. Let's see what else is happening here. The Hard Hat Award. Oh yeah. It's February 27th, which means tomorrow is the vote for the Hard Hat. And here's the nominees I've gotten from people. And my own thoughts are in here too. I'm going to make the case for everybody. Okay, tomorrow's the vote. Think about who of the top 4 you want to have the hard hat on their felt for the next month. Ed Robinson, we know. Ed's busting it. Ed's doing a lot of work behind the scenes with people. I know maybe haven't sought his help out, but he helps people behind the scenes. He's on most of the lives now. He's got shorts coming out. He's really kind of ramping up his channel, which is cool. Ed's putting in the work. George, as you know, puts in the work, right? George throws twice a day live. He's doing the dice mechanic teaching thing. He's running this entire tournament, this throwers tournament. His brainchild, he's doing all the work, right? He's putting in so much time for everybody behind the scenes. You just don't know. Alfredo, of course, busting his ever-loving ass right now, right? He's got all the lives going. He's got the talking craps thing going on. He's a good dude, and he's working his rear end off, and I think that's fantastic. And I got to give a shout to Duracell. Duracell, who will never vote for himself, and you can only vote once. So Duracell, as you know, there's not a live that I've been on that he's not been in the chat. Not one. I can't think of any time I've been on a live show of anybody's that he hasn't said at least hi. So you talk about somebody who's pushing all the creators to do better, pushing you all to keep engaged and keeping the community kind of like, where Duracell, you're all over the place. So this is my personal nomination. I put him in this list because I thought it's not always a creator, right? There's people that are working their asses off, and Skill and Luck, same thing, right? He's busting behind the scenes to make shit work. So here's the 4 nominees for this month, for March. So get your votes in tomorrow. Think about who you want. And also I put a note there, make your nominations in the Hard Hat channel. in Discord. You don't have to email me or text me. You can go to Discord and jump into the Hard Hat channel and put your nominees in there and tell me why. And then we'll start talking about them. So that's going to be it. Oh, look at that. Dice Dejan says skill. He witnessed the moonbow in person. That's cool. Ryan, I thought Darcel was a bot. That's pretty funny. I have heard reports, by the way, I've heard reports that the moonbow has made its appearance out there in the world. I'm not sure where the people are seeing it. Maybe they're watching the Daily Paychecks when I did it the 5 days. I think Sideshow did it once. I'm not sure if anybody else has done videos on it yet, but that's cool that it's getting out there. It's a good strategy. One of those things that's got a couple of risk buckets in there, but they're short term and it's super fun. So anyway, there's your hard hat. Get ready for that. Tomorrow's the vote. Think about who you want and we'll get it done. All right. Before we move into actual important things, let's talk about more douchey things you can do. I made mention of this last week in a short one, but I want to make sure I mention this again because it's important. You might be a douchebag if you tell the dealer how to do their job. And I know you've all seen this. The story that I got is that one old fart that was in the corner that one night at a break-in casino, and he was a retired pit boss from Vegas up here visiting, telling the dealer how to deal. And not just what the payments were, but it's grab 8 chips in your left hand and do this. And he was telling her how to move her hands. And, on this payment, you slide slide him $18 or slide him $20, ask for 2. And it was insanity. I'm like, dude, just shut up, let her do her job, right? If you're paid wrong, go to the box. The box is there to handle the wrong payments, right? Hold the game, say, excuse me, I think I have a missed payment here. Don't touch your chips. Let the box do it. Do not educate your dealer. That's not your job. It's the box person or the floor's job to educate them. If there's a mistake made, let them correct the mistake. If you're dropping $1 on a $14 win to get 15 for 1, right? You can say 15 for 1 and drop it down. That's about as far as you probably should take it. But telling her to give you and all that, don't do it. Don't do it. Use the staff as the staff should be used. It's a beginner mistake, right? You think you know your bets and you probably do. Let them do their job. Let the box do their job. Let the floor do their job. You focus on your bets and you're not there to train the dealers. Okay, so don't be a douchebag and tell the dealers how to do their job. And that's my last etiquette point for today. And then we'll move into the fun stuff, working the rack. So I'm going to go ahead and actually switch my screen here to this. I want to get the table in here and I want to talk to you about your rack a little bit. Let me get the light turned on. One of my favorite topics is this. Let's go to the rack. Let's get the light on here. I'm getting text messages from somebody. Okay, here we go. How do you manage your rack? Now, I've done a video on this. I know that Victor rather has a way of doing it. Vince has a way of doing it. Everybody's got their own way. And I want to show you some ways that you can use the rack, I think, to your advantage and get the information. I think that the rack gives you, by default, a ton of information on its own, which is kind of cool based on what you have in there. Let's just take a little bankroll. Okay, let's do a little something. I'll do $500. And what I'm going to do, by the way, I split my rack up in even amounts. All right, so here's 5 black chips. I use these, right? You see me use these things. These are my lammers, okay? These are little plastic things. They're about the size of a quarter. They're a little thicker. They're about as thick as 2 quarters. They're about the size of 1 quarter, okay? I had those printed for myself because I like them. Let me move them down here so you can see them better. Well, up here so you can see them better, I guess. Right there they are. You've all seen these things. I know they're not a surprise to you. If you want some, let me know. We'll figure out a way to get you some. You can use quarters. You can use, I'll put them over here. I better see it there. Quarters, you can use half dollars, you can use white chips, whatever you want to separate your money. But if I had $1,000 in black, I would do 5 black chips, a lammer, and 5 black chips, okay? I can look at that and go 500, 1,000, right? I know that to me, when I look down, I see the space between the chips, which I know for you is hard to see on camera. To me, that's up here a little bit. That's how I know where I'm at. That's how I can see what's in my rack. I know exactly where I am. Now, if it was 500 in black and I had a bunch of green chips, let's say we had 1, 2, like they will give you 3, 400, 50, and $50 in reds, which oftentimes is how you get your money when you buy in for $1,000. Well, it's the same thing. I go 500 in black. I do my greens as hundreds. And again, this is a pure bankroll system. And again, I can look down. I'll tell you why I do this in a minute. Let's get the lammers in here first. Sorry for the fumble fingers here, but it is what it is. I didn't pre-build all this. So here is a rack with $1,000 in it, like this. And I can look down at that and know where I am quickly, right? Because the separation, if it's quarters, half dollars, or white chips, doesn't matter. It's 500, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50, 1,000. I can look, boom, I know what I got in my rack, 0 questions about it. Okay, that's the first piece of information I get from my rack is how much is in here. Now, if I have this in my rack, right? And let's say that I got this. Let's say I'm gonna put $70 in the front for right now. And let's say that I've got some bets out here. Let's say that we've been playing craps for a while and I'm here and I got 160 out in front. I got $70 in the rack. I can look down and go, oh, my bankroll's clean. I have what I call a clean rack. I say it's clean. I have my full bankroll back here and I got 160 and 70. I'm 230 up, right? The rack tells me that. If your rack's a mess, right, and you have things kind of in different areas of it and they're all touching each other, it's hard to know where you are. So the rack gives me that bit of information first. What do I have? And I can use these two areas to kind of know what's in profit, right? If I'm playing a strategy though, that's different. Let's say I'm gonna move these out of here. And I'm gonna take this out of here for just a second. Give me a second here to move this out of the way. Let's say I'm playing and I'm predisposed to do this, the skill 66, okay? Let's say that's my strategy today. And I wanna play it 5 times. So I'm gonna go 50, 60, 65. Let's say I'll make it easy, I'll make $70 as my shot. $70 per shooter. It's 67, but let's just call it 70 to keep it simple. And when I buy in, I may buy in and set it up like this. So what's 7 times 5? 350, right? I buy in for 350. And I set my rack up like this. In this way, I'm not looking at my rack in terms of total profit. I'm looking at my rack in terms of how many shots do I have. And I know when I'm doing the math on this, how many shots I can play. Let's go ahead and say there's $66 there, or there's $70 there 4 times. And let's say that I've actually got it out here too. Let's say that I've got this. I have 5 in the front and I've got, let's set it up here, 66 inside. How's my rack? If I bought in for 350, right, and I've got 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 70s, that's my buy-in. I know that I've got my money back. When I know that I got 5 or 10 or whatever the number of shots I wanted, okay, I can keep track of this and say, well, when this thing wins, I'm gonna go ahead and replenish my rack to a certain number of, keep my rack clean by knowing the shots that I've got. And then I say, once I've got my shots taken care of, then I can look out here and say, okay, now I know this is all profit, okay? And if I'm doing 5 shots, if I have 5 shots here and 1 shot out here, it's 20% profit, right? I know that. If I have 5 here and 1 working, right, I'm 20% up. That's my note, right? My rack tells me I'm clean and I'm good. Now the 7 comes and wipes all this out. It's easy for me to move on and play again. I just take the next one and I start playing with the next one, right? Get the deal with $70 and we're back out again for our 66 inside and we do it like that. It makes it easy for me to manage where I am. And I can look at my rack and go, well, I just put this on the felt to replace what happened on the 7. And now I look down and go, whoa, look what's happening here. We're a little bit ugly, right? We have one of our shots out there on the felt. So I got a red chip that went astray over here. We're 1 on the felt, we're 4 in the rack. Now I'm quote unquote down, right? And that brings me to my next slide, right? Thinking about your decision making. When do you leave? When do you short stack? When do you lean in? How do you lower your bets and switch out? Well, you got to get your rack clean first. I think working the rack to keep it clean is one thing. And then you can make your decisions when they go. I'm actually going to head up a slide here real quick and do this because I want to talk about the money management piece first before we talk about decision making. right? So money management comes in a few forms. I know that we've all got our ways, okay? For me, my way is this. Now you're seeing the rack kind of backwards because you're obviously looking at the table from your side. If this was your rack and actually playing for you, here's how it would look. This would be over here, okay? So for me, the back right side of my rack, let me move this up, leave it a little further for you. The back right side of my rack over here, that's my bankroll. Okay, this is where I know, and I work from here all the time. So let's put $70 back up there. Again, we're doing skill 66 5 times, okay? If I'm here, when I'm ready to play, the puck is off, I'm getting ready to play, I take one of these and it goes into the front of my rack. Okay, the front left side of my rack gets the next, that's my next set of bets, is right in the front here. I use the front side. This quadrant is bankroll. This quadrant is what I'm betting on. If something happens to win, okay, let's assume we went $70, 66 inside. We get back $4, okay? I move this, I know I need a buck for later to do the next thing. This part of my rack in the front, profit, potential profit. And I'm working to get this thing set back up again. So let's just do a quick little pretend roll here. There's an 8. Okay, so, all right, that's the point, whatever. All right, how boring, hit the 8. So here's 21, let's do a really quick one here. $21, drop a buck, press them all, right? That's the skill 66. Now we're gonna be off with the puck. Catch a point, 7, 12, come on, get a point, will you? 9, 6. Okay, it pays $28. Now here's what I do, 25, 26, 27, $28, okay? And if I think about bringing it down, how does that look for me? Looks like this. And again, this is a virtual call. Okay, the 66 actually goes down to 44, but let's do it the way he designed it. We'll go to 44 in. Back to my rack comes what? We drop the 44. There's 25, 50, 65. There's the $70 that I started with, okay? That right there can go right to the back of the rack. There's the $70 that I started with. That's essentially my rack is clean. $2 comes to profit. I have $5 in profit left over, and I'm 44. What's the rack telling me? I've got my 5 shots, I'm clean, a tiny bit of profit, and I'm playing with whatever. What I'll often do out here is I'll shadow my bets out here. So if you get stuck on the math, like how much do I have out here? A lot of times what I'll do is this. I'll take from here, $44, and I'll put it over here on the front side, okay? This is what I have out there. So if I need to worry about what's on the felt, because it's hard to see sometimes with all the mess that's out there, $44, okay, let's say something wins, 15 for 1, right? Let's say I put it all in the 4, just who cares, right? I'll take 15 more bucks from over here and drop it in the front, right? And that way I'll kind of keep track of what, this is a shadow of this, so I can look at this plus that and kind of know where I am, right? I've done that before just to kind of keep my head in the math, so I'm not peeking around and trying to figure this out. You can shadow bet over here so you know what you had. That's just a little technique that I use to make the math easier for me. And there, so again, the rack is a tool to help you through it. Now, that's one way, doing it with a certain number of shots, 5 shots of whatever your strategy is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm clean, I got profit, and I'm playing. That's one way, okay? There's this bankroll recovery system that we talked about earlier. Let's go back and take these bets down real quick. Give me a second here to do that. Let's go back to our bigger bankroll. Let's go back, put that $1,000 back out there. Okay, there's the $1,000. Okay, this bankroll management system, which is the recovery system, says this: there's $1,000. I'm not playing a strategy that's $66 every single shooter kind of a strategy, right? This might be saying I'm playing the Molly system, so I'm going to go out point of 9, a come bet that travels to the 8, and I take 25 and drop it on there as odds, okay? Another $10 come bet. It goes to the 5, and I'll take 40 in odds on that one, okay? Or maybe 30 in odds. Maybe 30 is probably a better number. 30 in odds. Here, what I'm doing is I'm constantly rearranging my chips like this, and I can see if I leave the second lammer in there, I can know that I'm missing something. Like I see 2 lammers, I'm like, oh shit, I'm missing 50 bucks. I go 500, 6, 7, 8, 925. I must have 70 bucks, whatever, out here on the felt. And that's how I know what I'm doing. When I'm doing a bankroll recovery, let's say we roll an 8. Maybe I can do it. Probably not. 9, here's the point, doesn't matter. 5, we got a 5, cool. So the 5 is gonna pay 10 there and 40 flat, or 45 flat. 45 for the odds rather, okay? What do I do with this? When I'm in bankroll recovery mode, now here's 2 things you have to do. Bring the money back to your rack, obviously, right? I bring it back up. Where am I? Well, I know that I gotta put 50 bucks back, right? I gotta put this 50 bucks back in the rack. There's 25, there's 25. I've recovered my bankroll. I've got 20 bucks left. See how that worked, right? Get the bankroll clean. I still have a bet sitting out here. Next bet comes out from the profit side. Roll it up, 7 out. So what? We lose what was out there. We get paid in here, okay? The profit side now gets built up again, right? Actually, the profit would be over here. I'm working backwards. That's how I work that, right? You keep this thing clean as often as you can. Now, Vince would tell you, at this point, the roll's over. This is where his out of sight, out of mind comes in, right? You can take this quarter or some round number, right? Take that, put it in your pocket. Out of sight, out of mind. It's like you're starting over again. Like when I go downstairs and I reset my bankroll, right? He might take the whole 30 bucks, put it down here, put that in his pocket. Goes in the pocket for later, right? Replay it again. If I make 25 more bucks, out of sight, out of mind. And again, your bankroll is giving you that. Now, me out of sight, out of mind, I put it up here in the front. I can see it, right? You can put it in your purse, in your pants, whatever you want to do. That's another way of doing it, okay? Other folks will play this on a rolling bankroll system. I've seen the same thing. Let's say you had that same exact situation. Let's do it again. Let's get it. We're on a point of whatever. Point of 8. Let's just pretend play here a little bit. Take this money away. And you're gonna go, watch how I recycle here. We're gonna go, goes to the 6 with a quarter. Next one, we'll do 3 points here if we can get them. It goes to the 8 with a quarter. Coming out with the odds on. Ace deuce, 11, 9. Third one. There we go, the 8 hits. Okay, so the 8 hits, it's gonna pay 30 flat, or 30 odds, 10 flat, 30 odds, comes down, goes in, 30 odds, 25 odds goes back up. So all this comes back to my rack. And what you do in the recycler method is stick in the front of your rack, right? You go from here to the felt and out. When it comes off the felt, it goes into the front part of your rack. At the end, the front part of your rack builds up, hopefully to more than what you had back here. A lot of guys you'll see on YouTube do it this way too, where let's burn the whole rack because you don't know how much the bets are gonna be. Everything off the felt comes into the front, and at the end of it, the front of your rack, hopefully it's more than what you started with, right? Not a lot of information there from your rack when you're doing it this way, but it is a way to kind of track and manage how your rack is performing over time. So that's another way that you can do it. Let's go back a screen here for 1 second. Put the rack back the way that it was. Let's get our 50. There we go. Okay. Go back a screen here. The rack can also be used, oh, hold on. I want to do one more thing here, actually, before I do this. The other thing that a rack can give for you is tracking. And I think I do this a little bit. Let me go back. Where's the screen where I put the tracking on there? There it is. Tracking is an important piece. Okay, now one thing I think that you can do. Let's get out here with, let's do $14 6 and 8 or $12 6 and 8. All right, I want you to think about this. What is your move going to be? Let's say that your move here is not just a single unit price. Let's say the move is going to be, it's going to pay 14 bucks, okay? And you want to press this thing up a little higher, right? You want to go from, drop 3, right? Or drop $2 rather. So you're going to go from 24, right? Maybe your next move is to drop another $6 and take it to 30, right? Or not, I'm sorry, drop $4 and take it to 30, right? That might be your next move. You want to power press that a little bit. So what do you do here? If you're sitting here like this and you know that's what's coming, what I would probably do is this. In the front of my rack, now let's assume you have some pennies, right? In the front of my rack, I've got $4 sitting there, okay? And I'm ready to make the move. So when the $14 gets paid and I drop 4, right, to make the next bet 30 or whatever it's going to be, whatever you want to press it to, it doesn't really matter. Have your next little bit sitting here waiting for that next bet to happen, right? So when it pays the $14, you can drop this out here, take me to whatever, right? That's what I'm saying. Another thing you can do is if you're in a sissy press, let's say we're doing that. Let's say we're doing a $14, right? Let's take them both to 24 or 18 rather. Take our $2 back. What you can do if you're doing something like this, where you're saying, okay, I'm going to do a press collect. You might be here, right, in your rack and saying, well, when the chip is facing this way, it's time to press. When the chip is facing this way, it's time to collect. So I can know my next move here at 21 bucks is a collect. Comes back to my rack, flip the chip. Now I know the next time I get a hit for the $21, right? I can drop 3, press them both to 30, and now I'm in collect mode. And again, you can use white chips the same way. Facing towards you as the shooter or as the player is a press. Coming forward is the collect. That way you can kind of keep track of your next thing that you're going to do. I use that all the time because you get kind of forget where you are in the course of a game, right? Another thing you can do is if you're doing some kind of a parlay system like I do on the don't pass. Let's go down to the don't pass. We'll put $10 down here on that side. And if that hits, let's say we roll 1, 2, 3, and I stack it up, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use 2 of these things, right? Or multiples, but one of them is my level. I'm at level 1, right? And I'm in a parlay, or I'm in a collect now, right? I'm in a collect mode. Let's say that thing hits, right? I collect it. Now I'm at level 2 as my base bet, and I'm in parlay mode. When I see the chip here, I know that my next win of $20 gets parlayed. Now I go to collect mode. And if that wins, I go to level 3, and I keep track of my levels. And if you're doing a Wayland ladder kind of thing, this is a way to know what level you're on, because you can forget what direction you're going on. And that's an interesting way to kind of keep track of where you are. So I like to have my next bet move up in here. I've shadow betted up here to know where I am. I use these things to keep track of that kind of stuff. I also have seen people do this with their chips. And here's an interesting thing. Imagine a bunch of white chips up in here, right? And they represent the 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10. Okay? And maybe they're facing this way to start with. And let's track. Let's roll. There's a 4, right? Boom, there's a 4. There's another 4, so I get another white chip. That's 2 4s. There's an 8. 4, 5, 6, 8. So what has been hit is facing forward. How many times they've been hit is how many you're stacking. There's a 6, there's a 3. I'm not going to do the horns, but there's a 7. So now you're going to reset things. But you can tell by flipping chips in different directions what's been hit, what's hot, what's happening. You see a stack of like the other day, I probably would have had 9 8s or something like that. You can tell what's happening. This is a way too for you to communicate with your teammates. If I'm at the end of the table, everybody can look at my rack. Let's just say we had this. Let's say we had this kind of a thing here, right? With no 4s, no 10s, and just the 5, 6, and 8, or the 6, 8, 9, whatever this is, right? You can look at my rack and know what's rolling. I'm tracking for everybody else. So here's a nice way to kind of know what's happening on the table if somebody's doing this. So it's a cool way to kind of know what's running without having to remember it using your chips. So you can be really creative in the rack and get all sorts of information from it if you use it wisely. And again, I think it comes down to, let's go back a screen here, using it to manage your bankroll. Know where you are, right? Know where your bankroll currently stands. Again, right now we're clean. Let's pretend we're clean rack, a little bit of profit. Clean rack, a little bit of profit. That's cool. It's good to know, right? I'm here. Let's pretend that I had this. Let's pretend that I had $200 in profit. Let's say I had let's put in like another few bucks here. Let's say this is my rack. I've got my clean rack. I've got 200 in black, and I've got whatever that is in change, right? What's my goal? 20%. Lock the goal. That's going home. That's your out of sight, out of mind. Now I got this up in here. My rack tells me a couple things, right? Should I leave? In other words, if that front rack still has an extra $200 in it, now you got to think about it. We'll talk about this later on in the week. What decision do you make with this kind of thing? But here, at least I know I've locked a couple hundred. Let's say I've got what's in front of me here. I can short stack that. Is it worth it to take this home? I can say, well, there's $50. You know, I can go 44 inside. There's 45. We can go 44 inside, $6 across to the dealers, and let's take a stab at it. That might be what you do, right? But your rack tells you that. Your rack lets you know, I've locked. It's in the back row. If it's in the back row, it ain't coming back, right? Once you've got your clean bankroll plus your profit lock. So anyway, that's some thoughts, right? There's some general bankroll thoughts. I know that other people do this differently. I wanted to give you kind of a super high level of different ways of doing it, right? There's pure counting my wins or counting my bankroll, keeping it safe, and then working on the profit side. There's the number of shots that you can take way of doing it, right? How many shots do you have left is a way of looking at it. There is the rolling bankroll way. There's the out of sight, out of mind. There is tracking what's happening, tracking your levels, tracking your press collect move. There's all sorts of ways to use your rack and the chips that you get from the house or lammers like mine to make those calls, right? I actually have lammers in 2 colors. I have the white ones and I have black ones, and I bring them both. When I'm doing a level system, one of them is the press collect, one of them is the level that I'm on. So I actually change colors up for myself sometimes to do that. So anyway, that's a lot of yapping from me. We can roll a little bit if you want to. We can actually play a little bit of bankroll. Let's do a little Molly while we're sitting here. Let's actually play. I'm not sure how much time I have left. Let's take a look at the clock here before I commit to rolling dice and see what time it is. It is 8:52. I got 8 minutes left. Let's roll. Let's do a quick little rollout here. Not super long, but let's go to this view here. Maybe. There we go. All right. I'm not going to do the roll tracker because I don't want to run and change screens, but let's go ahead and play this bankroll, $1,000 bankroll. We'll do a little 3-point Molly just for fun. The kind of system here, if you're doing this, then you're probably not doing per shot. You're just doing a rolling kind of a thing. But I will work the bankroll management system as we go. Let's go run roll out. We got us a 10. So watch me work. So I'm going to start this when I do it every day anyway. I will work the bankroll live like I do. I'm going to start calling this out a little more to you, so you know what I'm doing and why. Oh my God! Immediate 7. Oh, we should have been in the come. So here's what we do. Goes back in the rack, goes into the profit stack. So $10 into the profit stack. Puck is off. Bankroll's clean. Profit being tracked. Another 10. Now when I come back out to the come, I'm not going to pull from my bankroll until I need to. I'm going to work from the profit side until the profit's where I want it. That's how I kind of do this. So there's that. We're on a 6. Cool, that goes to the 6. And I'll do this Johnny style. I'll set 3 first, then I'll take the odds afterwards. 1, 2, 3. Bummer. Let it roll continuously. 7 out. So we're gonna lose this one, get paid in there. Back to the rack. My rack is clean, but I lost a little bit. 7 on the come out, not worrying about it. 11 on the come out. Boy, I should be on that pass line. I don't do the molly from the pass line there's reasons why. Although it's cost me 30 bucks in profits here, I still don't do it. There's a 10. All right, into the come we go. Let's work a little bit. Oh boy, goes to the 4. Not the best. Into the come. 7 out. This is great. This is just great. This loses, that pays that, back to even. People say all the time, the place bets pay better than the come bets do, right? Which they do. And the odds even, with max odds on a 3, 4, 5 table, don't match on a come bet with odds what a place bet would pay. You can't discount this, right? Twice now we've been in the come, and twice those bets have resolved in the come. That's not to be understated how powerful that is. That part of the edge is pretty cool. All right, 11. Boy, look at this again. The come out pass line, we should totally be there. 5. But again, I like having 3 come bets kind of cycling up here. That's why I don't do it. When I play a 3-point molly, I want 3 come points. The pass line, whatever. It's personal preference. Just the way I just want these 3, not that as part of it. All right, goes to the 9. Again, Johnny style, I like to get all 3 set, just in case we have this situation. I didn't want to have my max odds out here, right, until the 3rd one gets out there. So this one loses completely. This one loses, but it can be seen to pay that. And again, the rack is now going to tell us where we are. We're down 10 bucks. It's so easy to see when you're separating things like that where you are. Tough day for craps players right here. 6, 4, 2, 6. Actually, it goes there. Sorry. Come bet. Can we get out? Hey. Again, bankroll recovery mode. Fill the bankroll before I do anything else. Make sure the bankroll is as full as it can be. 5, 2, 7 out. Wow, what a day. Bankroll recovered. $10 in profit. And again, work this, work that. Can I get like one decent little run here? It'd be awful nice. 7, 10 again, but we've had points of 4 and 10 every time, haven't we? All right, 10 bucks from the profit side goes in. Again, I'm working the profit, another 7 out. Working the profit side like it's my bankroll until it hits the level I need it to hit. Now there's 20 bucks in there. Oh, these quick 7s are brutal. Another one. My goodness gracious. Another 10. Boy, the point has only been 4 and 10, I think. All right, into the come we go. So 2 come bets are going to get played from profit, which is kind of cool. 5, 1, 6. Our dip in's only going to be for one of them. A 4. Now we dip in, get our 3rd one. Come on. Oh my God. Really? Can I get some rhythm here, please? All right, that pays that. This loses, and we're going to be back even in the bank. A little less profit. I can't catch a run here, though. I want to get something to pay so we can see some profit. Again, if I'm on the pass line as part of this, we're making good money. There's a point of 9. 0.09 come. Wow. It's like going to the real casino, isn't it? It's getting, no matter where you go, they take your money. 6, 10. I'm not getting great come points generally. 10. Can I get 3 set? Ooh, look at that. We got 3 set. There it is on the 9. And that goes to the 9. Now, based on last week, what are we going to do? We're going to go 30 in odds here. I'm going to go 40 in odds here. I'm going to go 50 in odds on the 6. We're going to go 3, 4, 5 max odds. Play this thing out. Now look at my bankroll. My bankroll's a mess right now, right? I have 3 lammers that are telling me you got work to do over here. I got to replace a bunch until these lammers are used up in here. I got work to do. That's another point of information that my rack I allow it to give me. There's a 5 for the point. Again, the odds would have been working there for me. 5 is the point. Let's get something to resolve. And we'll hopefully rebuild that rack nicely. 3, it's 11. Come on. Hey, we got a 9. We got a 9. That's awesome. It pays 10 flat and 40 pays 60. So we're going to leave 10 to come because we're going to come out again. I am going to take all this back though and reset things. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 925. That's 950. What I know that I need though, the way I like to do this is this. I like to have 2 greens and 2 stacks of 5 reds. That's my visual. So I'm getting close to it, but not quite there yet. There's the 10. Look at the 10 paying off. Woo! All right. This comes down. The come bet moves in. We get paid 10 flat and 30 pays 60 bucks. The odds go back up. Back to my rack. Look at this. 5, 6, 7, 8, 950,000 and 40 bucks in profit. Now I know I got this up here sitting for me in profit, right? Next come bet has to go out. Just keep rolling through it. There's the 5. Puck is off, travels in, 25, 40 bucks. Now I got 3 come bets up here with max odds. I'm only $10 into my rack, right? That's like, again, this psychopathic way that I manage this stuff to know where I am all the time. Every chip matters to me as I'm playing, and I want to know where the hell they all are. This, to me, look at this. This, again, the information I've got here tells me I'm only down 10 bucks in my rack. If I look at my odds, by the way, 40, 90, and 60, and 30 is 120 in odds. I could pull all the odds out of here and be $110 up in profit. I know that. I know that right now my odds are $110 in odds, or 120 in odds minus the $10 that I'm down. I could pull it all down and know that I'm 10% profit. If I'm doing a daily paycheck, we made the paycheck, 10%. Again, you wouldn't know that unless you're paying attention to what's in your rack. There's a 1, 2, 3. Last couple rolls here. There's a 6. That's great. Again, 10 flat, 60 in odds for the payment. Another 10 coming. Now I go clean bankroll, and I have $110 in profit. Clean bankroll, 110 in profit, $10 coming, and I got all this out here. If I want to run right now, right, I could pull 40, 60, 40, 70 bucks off and be at almost 200 bucks in profit. I can do that right now, right? It may be seen as insane to do it, right? But again, if you're paycheck playing, there's 110 plus 30 plus 40. What is that? 180, right? 180, 190. That's essentially 200 bucks in profit plus the 2 comebacks that are stuck out here as what do you call this? By the way, we're coming out. Those are stuck out there as contracts. So you have a choice, right? There's an 8. Again, odds for me always working. Let's let these 2 bets resolve. I'm happy with the 110, right? This is those things where my paycheck goal was 100 bucks, 10%. I'm happy with the goal. 5 is going to pay again, same thing. Comes down, we get paid 10 flat. We're going to get paid 50, 70 for the odds. Or, sorry, 60 for the odds, 40 pays 60. $70 total. And we're banked up. Now, here's what I would do in real life, okay? When my rack looks like this, a lammer goes up. Here comes 100, which was my win goal. Here comes 50, which is half or thereabouts of my excess. This is never leaving. I'm never going back to the rack again. 7 out. So that bet fails for us, which is fine. I have a choice. What do I have out here? 25, 50, 75 of 90 bucks. 90 bucks. So I can take the 90 bucks and play with it. Or what I might do is take 25, 50 of it and play with just this little tiny short stack, right? Your choice. Either way, this is not going home. The bankroll is done. This is our play money, and there you go. That's how you manage a rack without doing per shooter, right? We had a bunch of bad rolls there and still made a couple $100. That's pretty good. Typical Molly day. Typical Molly day. Anyway, hope that was helpful. Hope that was all helpful. I can't see the chats at all. I'm going to come back over now and take a look and see what we have. Let's see here. Let's get that shrunk down so I can see. Let's go here. All right. Back we go. Oh, the light's on. I always forgot to turn the light off. I need like a clicker for the light, so I've got to keep looking at the damn thing. All right. Yes, I do, Corey, because I work my odds all the time. I never not work my odds. We went over this last week because come bets with the odds working, that's the play. Place bets, no. Come bets, I work my odds all the time. So I maybe I'm an outlier in that, but I think we should all consider if you're playing the come with odds, work them on the come out. It's way, way, way in your advantage to do that. So there we go. Hope that, I'm gonna go look at some PCs and questions. If there's anything that you guys want to talk about. Oh my goodness, look at them all. Wow, you guys have a lot of stuff. Let's see what's being said. I need my glasses. You're running comeback. Sorry, man. Let's see. Let's see. Next Fireside. Oh yeah, you know what? Charlie could be on Fireside. Charlie, I think, might be better to have on this show. I thought about having Charlie on Fireside as a podcaster. Charlie, you need visual with him. Like the podcast with Ken and with JB and with Greg, when I did with Greg that one time, we may do it again. The podcast is designed to like headphones, walk your dog, or drive in your car, listen to it. I think with Charlie, you need to see the bets because he does things and you like, what are you talking about? You got to like look at the bets and go, oh, that's what you're talking about. I think he's visual. I want to get him out here and like we did on the Craps for the Cure event, have him with me on the table talking about it live. Charlie is going to be a great guest for us, but I think he needs to be for here. And if Duracell would do it, I would love to have Duracell on Fireside Craps for sure. Where did my screen go? Like what happened to my, something happened here. I'm having so many tech problems today. What did I do? There. Weird. That's the wrong one too. What the hell's happening? Oh, yeah. Whatever. I'll figure it out later. PC, where's the pass the rack? I'm not sure what the pass the rack is. High rest, not true. Oh yeah, you're going back before, right? Yeah, some doers don't know how to do their jobs. You're 100% right, but it ain't your job to fix them. Let the box fix them. If they can't do their job, right? The box person is their immediate double check. The floor is their supervisor, right? Let the staff do the work. It's not your job to fix what's going on. You got to remember that. That's really important, okay? So there's that. All right, what else do we have here? Skill and Luck says, where's the, I'm not sure, saying, what is the pass the rack you're talking about? We haven't done that in a long time. Is there a rack going around right now that I forgot about? I mean, there may be that I forgot about one, but if there is, let me know what that is, Skill. Maybe I'll give you a second here in chat to kind of type that in. If I missed it, I'm sorry. Let's see. I think that's everything except for that question from Skill. Let's call it here. I'll give you a minute to answer me on that one, and then I got a tech nightmare today, man. I lost all my graphics went away. I got all kind of shit going on. All right. I guess that's going to be it, guys. Let's get out of here. It's 9:10. Wow. Long day of rolling. Hopefully tomorrow goes smoother. Monday, it's Case of the Mondays, right? Case of the Mondays. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Oh yeah, Skills talking about the old one. I don't know where the old one is. I forget, who did I even give it to? I forget who I even gave it to. I gotta. If you remember, let me know. Drop me a text so I know. But I forget who I gave it to. So we'll figure it out. All right, guys. That's it. I'm out. Have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe tonight for practice, but I'll for sure see you tomorrow morning. Thanks again, everybody. Y'all are awesome. Bye.